This Week in Richmond is made possible in part by Alpha Natural Resources, an energy company dedicated to respecting the land. Alpha Natural Resources. We power the world through the energy of our people. Everywhere there are lighting poles, there's one more opportunity to save money. Intelligent Illuminations provides cost-effective wireless lighting solutions for roadway or area outdoor lights. Kanawha Valley Arena, Virginia's cowboy town, hosts Civil War reenactments, ATV rodeos, mud bogs, diesel truck pulls, and high school rodeo finals. The Virginia Chamber of Commerce, the voice of the Virginia business community, working in legislative, regulatory, and political arenas to promote the free enterprise system. Additional support is provided by these sponsors. And by the members of Virginia's public television stations. Thank you.
Welcome to This Week in Richmond, and we have a very special show for our viewers today. We're going to have you two gentlemen and two of your colleagues who formed what's rapidly becoming known around the Commonwealth as the Business Development Caucus. And we appreciate your being on and telling the viewers who haven't heard about the caucus something about that caucus, and then telling about the legislation. Delegate Chris Head and Delegate Michael Webert, we appreciate you all being the first two from the caucus to talk to our viewers. So, Chris, why don't you start and tell them a little bit about the formation of the caucus, and then you and Michael talk about some of the legislation. And as I tell other guests, you are most welcome to ignore me. I'll keep track of the time, and you all converse with each other about some of the legislation.
Well, David, you've known me long enough that watching the time when it comes to talking is what we have to do with
yes,
me.
I will keep an eye.
Now, just to give you the background on it, the caucus was formed last year with the four of us getting together. We had an interesting thing that had happened with the freshman class that came in last year. We had 16 new delegates, 15 Republicans, but 12 of us are business owners. A little unusual to have that many business owners coming in. Most of us small business.
That's right.
And we as we began to talk, all of us had run on a platform of trying to bring more business thought to the way government ran, more business thought to the legislation that was passed, so that we'd be able to really manage things in a better fashion. And we noticed as we got here that there was a caucus for everything. There was the Conservative Caucus, and there was the Progressive Caucus, and there was the Hampton Roads Caucus, and the Northern Virginia Caucus, and the Sportsman Caucus, and the Sunrise Caucus, and the Anti-Caucus Caucus,
and the Rural Caucus,
and the Apathy Caucus. I mean, it was just it's on and on.
The really
there was
long-named Energy Caucus.
And yet there was nothing as a business caucus, and we really couldn't quite understand why. And so I think we were sitting in my office one afternoon, four of us were sitting around talking about it, and I said, I've been thinking about this. What do you think about creating one? And then we couldn't figure out a name for it. That took us probably longer than anything else. Was
right.
How do we have something that doesn't limit any business, but the idea is to continue making Virginia the best place to do business and promote business and to develop business, and so the name, the Business Development Caucus, formed. We had meetings around the state then. Well, first of all, invited other members of the House and Senate to join with us. We ended up with, I think we've now got 27
members, yeah.
on our list. And then we said, rather than us coming with our own agenda, we needed to find out from the business community what was needed. And we went around the Commonwealth with 6 different meetings, working with business leaders, and I moderated all of those and said, when it stand up, I'd ask one question. I'd say, if you had a magic wand, and with a wave of that wand, you could have any one new law or regulation, or with that same wave of the wand, you could take any existing law or regulation and make it go away in order to help your business, what would that be and why? And then we just, for an hour and a half, in 6 different places, just shut up and wrote down what they said. And
found some common ground amongst various members across the state. And that's primarily where our legislation has come from, is we have found threads from all across our different roundtables, from Ashburn and Culpeper all the way down to Danville, and we had one in Hampton Roads and Richmond as well. And so we crafted, 16.
I think we had 16 bills that we drafted. I think we ended up filing 12 of ours, and then some of the other members
Yep.
had bills that they put in that we're also following.
And we will tell our viewers too that we want to put up your website.
Oh, yeah.
Your
bdcva.org.
We'll put that up on the screen too, and they can
Please.
find the legislation there as well as the 27 members.
Yeah, and the idea behind the caucus was obviously we want to be bipartisan. We want to include all of the Commonwealth. So not only Northern Virginia, but we want to hear input from as far as Tazewell and way in the Southwest, so that everybody is represented, so that we can have legislation that will promote business and to help facilitate business in the Commonwealth.
So everything that we're looking at is designed to either create jobs or remove regulatory barriers or just assist a business to be able to get started. And we have several that I think will be of interest. One of them that I am carrying, I've got two that are up. One of them is part of the summary or the tort reform package. It's the summary judgment bill. It'll take us too long for me to explain that one. It gets sort of down into the weeds pretty quickly, but it's something that the entire business community is behind, and we're hopeful we'll be able to do something with that. I also have a bill on unemployment insurance compensation that if you've got a certification or some kind of a license that you are individually required to keep, and it was a prerequisite for your getting that job, and then you just decide you don't want to renew it, you let that lapse, and you lose the job as a result of that, you haven't done what you needed to do to keep the job, and so the employer shouldn't be dinged for the unemployment insurance on that.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of workers' compensation insurance, I've got one that involves the EMR. A lot of times, in cases of act of God or things like that, workers' compensation is a no-fault insurance, and the EMR rating for a company can go up until insurance pays out or things like that. And for a lot of, like for instance, construction subcontractors, if they're above a 1, they're not going to get the job. Mm-hmm. And that particular rating, is at no fault of theirs. And what we've done is we've worked on the bill so that it'll only affect auto, and we're basing it off of a Colorado's section, so that it will be of no cost to the Commonwealth, and it's already something that has been done, and that will be our start to help business keep their EMR ratings low.
So.
Quite an interesting group of bills, and as you were saying, about a dozen or more of you small businesses. Tell our viewers about your small businesses that you're all involved in.
Well, I own a home care company. My wife and I have 2 franchise territories of a company called Home Instead Senior Care. So we employ about 300 people in the Roanoke and Lynchburg area and take care of senior adults in their homes.
I've got essentially two businesses. One is my family farm, which is 3,500 acres, and we're a large cattle and grain operation, as well as some high quality forages for the horses. But then also my wife and I have our own livestock marketing business, in which we help producers of primarily cattle market their genetics across the country.
Going back to the caucus, when I went on the website and looked, it appears that initially you're getting members of the House, but you say it's open to both House and Senate members?
Well, we invite both. I don't think we've got any senators that have wanted to step up and join with us yet. We'd like to see that change in the future.
We did have a couple come to the roundtable.
We did have them come to the roundtables around the state, though, and participate with us. And making sure that we're moving forward so that we have representation from both parties as well is pretty important for us on this. More Republicans, but we've got a lot more Republicans in the House than right now, so it's not surprising. And making sure that it's all about business and job creation. We can do every kind of social program. We can do every kind of tax change. Anything that we want to do about education. If people don't have jobs, we have nothing. So that's what we're about.
I certainly commend you for having the website, because as you rattled off the list of caucuses that are here, and some of them have been here for a long time, I'm not sure that they have used that part of technology to try to get their message out to constituents.
Well, again, and we wanted to make sure that the community, the business community, all the chambers of commerce would have access to that, so we could tell people, we came to see you, this is what you gave us, and you, rather than having to plod through all of the legislation that's out there on the LIS website, you'd be able to go to just one spot and find the bills that we said we were going to put in, and then see how we're doing with them. So if anybody goes and visits the website, again, bdcva.org, you can look at the list of the legislation. You can click on a link there that will take you straight to the bill and be able to read through and make comments on it. And also, I would say, if any of the viewers have suggestions for things they'd like to see the Business Development Caucus pick up and work on, there's also a comment area. If you want to pick that magic wand up yourself,
Yes.
send us your idea now. We can't do anything with it this session, but as we're looking forward to future sessions, we'll be able to put that together and hopefully can continue this process.
Yeah, I mean, we've pledged to do this again, to have roundtables throughout the state again, and to keep hearing. And as our numbers hopefully grow, we'll be able to have them in different places with a lot more help, and hopefully receive more and more feedback. We want to be as transparent as we can, so that everybody understands what we're about and what we're doing. At least that's the goal.
Now, is it primarily small business?
Well, yes, there are a couple of bills. I think you'll talk with Delegates Watson and Ramadan in a bit, but they're carrying a couple of bills that will affect everybody. One that Delegate Ramadan is carrying has to do with electronic filing of information with the State Corporation Commission. They are woefully behind the times, and that affects everybody, not just small business. There's also an Import by Virginia Act that will affect a lot of small business, but potentially a lot of large businesses, in facilitating a structure where bridge loans would be in place for exports. The United States is a little different. The things that leave our ports, other countries, when they are exporting to the U.S., their producers get paid when it reaches their dock, not our dock. We do it the exact opposite. And so there's a long lag time there of 30 or 45 days sometime, and sometimes tens of millions of dollars of capital that's tied up.
That bill will affect a number of different industries, including one that I'm involved in as well, in our largest industry, which is agriculture. I mean, the governor loves to talk about his soybean sales. This will help facilitate some of that. But on the small scales, I mean, I'm carrying a bill that involves home daycares, licensed home daycares, so that they can maintain a number of slots, and the counties, can't really regulate that, so that'll free up more people to enter the workforce.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah. Well, as you noted about the time, it does run out.
It races by.
And it does, and thank you very much, Delegate Webert, Delegate Head, for introducing the Virginia Business Development Caucus, and we'll be hearing from two of your colleagues in just a moment. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to welcome two additional members of the Business Development Caucus here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Thank you very much for being on this week in Richmond. Delegate David Ramadan, Delegate Mike Watson. Your colleagues talked and helped explain to our viewers how this caucus was started, so why don't you take it from where they started and tell about some of the additional legislation that's being introduced.
Well, one of the things we were looking at, and they may have covered this earlier, but as we went out and met with businesses across the state, we were looking for common themes, if you will. While we were in localities talking to businesses, if we heard the same thing again and again, it maybe went beyond a locality and was systemic. These are things that were something we really put at the top of our list to address. One of the interesting things that we heard, and it really falls back to access to capital. That's something that companies have really struggled with as a result of the economy, as a result of some of the Dodd-Frank Act, that it's just gotten tougher for businesses to get capital to operate, to get capital to expand. So we started looking, obviously, to some degree, especially when we're talking Dodd-Frank, that's a federal issue, but what can we do at a state level? One of the things that we started to determine is to why companies were having this trouble was you have to have almost perfect credit in this environment right now to get a loan, to get capital for expansion, maybe even to buy from vendors. I mean, they're really looking for mark-free companies on as far as finances. And so we started looking at the reports, the credit reports that are done on companies that are provided by agencies whether it's a bank, whether it maybe is a customer, whether it's a vendor. They'll order these reports on your company, and if there's a glitch on there, it may make the difference whether you get that loan or get that customer. And one of the things that we heard from consistently across the state was oftentimes there were glitches on these reports that weren't valid. Either they were outdated or it was just an error. And a company doesn't have access to its credit report like an individual does under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And so we're introducing a bill that will give companies access to the information that's being shared on them. Gives them an opportunity to see if there's any errors, and if so, a mechanism to go and respond and try to get that corrected. We think that will help companies at least fulfill
Yes.
one more of those burdens that it'll take to get access to capital.
Excellent.
You know, one of the neat things that we discovered as we traveled the Commonwealth this summer, the four of us, was not only these common themes, but the diversity of issues that the business world is dealing with. We could have sat in this building and talked with all 100 members of the House and other 40 members of the other House or the other chamber, and we would have never came up with 12 issues that are real from the market that our businesses are dealing with. So going around the state, we were able to come up with these real issues that are diverse and that are really calling for a solution to an actual problem. Let me just go quickly here, David, and tell you a little bit about some of these bills. The first one is one that I happen to carry for the caucus, which is the integration of the SCC, the State Corporation Commission, into the Business One Stop. The governor created the Business One Stop a couple of years ago, whereby now people that want to do business in Virginia can manage all of their government relations through one portal. The one exception to that has been the State Corporation Commission. We think it's time for a state corporation to join the Business One Stop, so we have a bill that covers that. Another bill that we put in that's under Delegate Head is we're calling it the Transparency of Doing Business in Counties bill. We heard again and again from one county to another about the challenges of businesses getting business licenses after they go through the state and then they go to the county level. And we figured that there should be transparencies. Counties should have a process for every kind of business that they allow. They should have that process available for people to see with estimated times, and then compete in order to gain businesses to come to their counties. We dealt with workers' compensation issues. We got a couple of bills of worker comp that I think a couple of the colleagues had covered as well. Child care services at home. We discovered that there's a problem with home daycares. Our great women of the Commonwealth who does a great service to their neighborhoods by having home-based daycares are having trouble getting these businesses to continue on and be profitable, and that's because of the differing regulations between the state and the county. So we have a bill to deal with that as well, and that helps women entrepreneurs working from home. We got to a couple bills on workforce development, where I'm carrying one, Delegate Watson's carrying one on workforce development. My bill helps put a program from high school to work where we can create apprenticeships and create work shadow programs that the high schools approve and allow for kids to do as we get them ready to go into the workforce. Would you like to talk about your other bill?
I've got a couple of them, but one of them that we found as we talked to folks that were looking to hire, because that's really what one of our goals was, what can we do in a General Assembly to set the environment right so that you can expand and ultimately hire people. And some of the folks we talked to were trying to hire, and they said, look, we've got job openings and we get applicants, but they're just not qualified for the jobs. They don't have the training that we need. And through a couple of mechanisms that already exist, there's a non-credit training course program that community colleges can apply for. If you've got an employer in the area that is interested in hiring a number of employees with certain skills, don't necessarily need a degree, but they need training. These programs exist today in the community college system, but it's sometimes tough to get the right equipment for the training that they would need. And so I've got a bill that would incentivize companies to contribute equipment for these training programs. And in many cases, they're going to try and hire these employees out of these programs. So they get to train on the equipment that they'll be using in the workforce. And that's just another way to get these folks that are looking for work matched up with those folks that have jobs available. There's another one that I'm carrying. It's a Virginia longitudinal database, or data system rather. And that's essentially, it's a tracking mechanism, if you will, to follow students, not by name or by identifying, but you're looking for trends there. Students that go through the education system and the different programs that are involved with in education, starting at kindergarten, working all the way through the workforce. And you can build, really using a mechanism of statistical process control, develop a knowledge base so you can know which programs work, which programs don't. And it will help you to reshape those programs. As legislators, we can use them to determine what programs that we're mandating, if you will, are they working or not, but also the various school systems around the state that will try different strategies for teaching our kids and getting prepared them for careers. You can see what works, what doesn't. It gives us tools to use to be able to make that analysis.
You know, I will remind our viewers that the bills you're talking about are on your caucus website, bdcva.org.
Correct. That's
And
what
I
I'm
think
reading
we're
from.
putting that up on the screen too, so that as they hear about these, they can go get that bill number and check it
Right.
out if they're interested. I'm sorry, you were about to name another bill.
I was about to talk about the telework bill. I've put in a work that gives tax credits for employees that telework 3 days or more than 20 hours from home a week. We're dealing with transportation problem. We believe this is not only a bill that'll help on the transportation issue, but also it's a quality of life bill, and it also helps our fathers and mothers to spend some more time with their children. In my district in Northern Virginia, my average constituent spends 3 hours a day commuting. So we're trying to encourage as well people to work from home and be able to spend more time with their families. So our program really and our agenda covers, as you see, a myriad of bills from different types of issues, all of which are centric to jobs, all of which are centric to making the Commonwealth a better place to do business. And we're very happy to see several of these bills adopted by the governor as part of his workforce agenda and his education agenda, because he found that some of these bills are in line with his vision for a better Virginia and for a reform educational Virginia.
You know, one of our goals at the end of the day here is as we get these bills through, and we're not so naive to think we'll get every single one of our bills through this year, and some of them will need some additional work.
We'll get most of them in.
But we will. Nothing like confidence of an entrepreneur. But what we're hoping really to gain out of this is the momentum of the Business Development Caucus that localities and businesses across the state will actually be contacting us, say, hey, we've got a great idea. Maybe a locality says, we'd like for you to come to our hometown. You know, we went to 6 different places this year and covered, I guess if you mapped out the state, a broad section of the state. There's still other areas we haven't been to, and we need to. This is something that will only help us. Is if folks say, yes, we got ideas, we'd like to share them with you. And we think that'll happen as we get more, this caucus gets more notice and we're successful getting these bills through.
Happy as well to see that a couple of our colleagues in the Senate have joined in on dropping bills that are similar to ours. Senator McWaters has a similar bill to the integration of the SCC into the Business One Stop. Senator Stanley had put in 2 bills, one on telework and one on the Virginia Export Act, which we had put in as well. So we're happy to see that the Senate is also cooperating on these, and hopefully we'll be able to pass them through.
I want to thank both of you, Delegate Watson, Delegate Ramadan, and your other colleagues for being on This Week in Richmond, and encourage our viewers to get more informed about what's happening here at the Capitol. Thank you both very much.
David.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
This Week in Richmond is made possible in part by Alpha Natural Resources, an energy company dedicated to respecting the land. Alpha Natural Resources. We power the world through the energy of our people. Everywhere there are lighting poles, there's one more opportunity to save money. Intelligent Illuminations provides cost-effective wireless lighting solutions for roadway or area outdoor lights. KANAWHA Valley Arena, Virginia's cowboy town, hosts Civil War reenactments, ATV rodeos, mud bogs, diesel truck pulls, and high school rodeo finals. The Virginia Chamber of Commerce, the voice of the Virginia business community, working in legislative, regulatory, and political arenas to promote the free enterprise system. Additional support is provided by these sponsors. And by the members of Virginia's public television stations. Thank you.